All right, people. Welcome, man. Hope you guys are good. Hope you guys are good. Uh, Arsenal are the new Stoke City. Let's start with that, guys. Listen, welcome, man. Let's come drive with me. I'm heading to the office. I said, you know what? Let me jump in here and chat with you guys. But yeah, and we can talk about the game yesterday, man. What did we see? Did we like what we saw? What was the deal? Yeah, listen. Berbatov said Arsenal are the new Stoke City. That is funny to me, but it kind of speaks volume on how Arsenal roll, right? Because obviously, Amorim did promise us that we're gonna see a style of play from day one, right? You guys, let me know. Did we see a style of play in that game yesterday, or have we seen the style of play as of up to this point, right? To me personally, listen, I can say this. Yeah, we've seen a style of play, man. We'll see there's a structure there. And that was the issue with what Erik ten Hag was facing, is a lot of people were criticizing him. He came with a style of play from Ajax, and then he got to Manchester and he saw the players. He was like, nah, this style ain't gonna work. Right? So he abandoned it and tried to cater to the players. But Amorim is telling us and told the players and everybody that, listen, it's not going to fly. This is the system that he knows, the 3-4-3. And that's how we're going to roll going forward. And honestly, I like it, man. Like yesterday against Arsenal, Manchester United versus Arsenal, or Arsenal versus Man United, it was one of those, one of the biggest tests, really, to see, it's one of those, it's called a stress test. When you're doing these experiments and stuff like that, you got to go through a stress test and see how you fare and see how whatever your product you're trying to make, if it's going to, to find where the faults are. And then you can see, okay, should we abandon this plan or stick with it? If you're trying to build something, for example. Right? And honestly, what I saw yesterday is that we have something that could work, because we were facing an Arsenal team that they are on, I'm going to use a quote here from Chow, big up Chow. He said, listen, man, Arsenal, they are on like phase 5, right? Because they are trying to go for the title. We are like on phase 1 of our project, right? On phase 1, meaning like, listen, we're just beginning. Like, Amorim has had this team for 2 weeks or something like that. He's been coaching them, and not even coaching them like that, because first of all, Amorim came into the fold in the middle of the project, right? It's not like he had any preseason, so he's really trying to coach this team during games, or the games are actually what he's using to coach these players, right? So again, we faced an Arsenal team that is ready right now to try to challenge for the title, and we are not. And we saw that yesterday. We are, at some points, obviously, first half we did well. We really stopped Arsenal. They couldn't really break us down. And the system looked like it was working. We were able to hold on to the ball pretty well in the first half, right? And Arsenal was getting frustrated, right? And second half, of course, Arteta, did some tweaked it, and figured us out, right? And once he figured us out, then they had more ball control, and they were able to get, to finagle and able to get those corners. Because they know when it comes to corners, they are really the best when it comes to set pieces, right? So they knew, okay, we can't break them down. Let's go to our plan B, long balls like Stoke City, or corners. And listen, they were lethal, man. We should not have given them 10 plus corners, knowing how deadly they are on corners. Yeah, that is our mistake. And when Amorim was quizzed after the game in the post-match conference, he did say, when he was asked, because listen, he was asked, you're gonna face Arsenal again in the FA Cup, which is a disgrace. I don't know why we got to face him again, where all our other rivals are playing, really not as strong teams. I don't want to disrespect the other teams, but So he was asked, when you face him again, what are you gonna do different? Amorim said set pieces. Right? He said, listen, he's gonna make sure he stresses on set piece play. All right, to find a way to stop Arsenal with that. And listen, guys, don't feel bad, man. Because a lot of teams have tried to contain Arsenal in that aspect of the game when it comes to those set pieces, and they have failed. And little alone us, who were really on phase one of our 3-4-3 Amorim reign, obviously we're going to struggle as well. But we shall see what Amorim does in the FA Cup to see if we change something. We know how to deal with those set pieces, because you can see when they were setting up for the corner, they do the same thing. They do the same thing. They kind of congregate in one corner, and then once the ball comes, boom, they all rush in. And one thing is, you got to give it to Arsenal. Bukayo Saka, Declan Rice, the delivery of the ball is incredible, right? Pinpoint kind of thing. So it's one of those, like, the players know exactly the ball is going to come here, so we need to attack it here to cause havoc, right? So, that is their thing, and it looks like it's working for them, because each time, like, whenever Arsenal get a corner, you can see the cameraman will pin the camera to Arteta and his set piece coach, and then once the goal goes in, you'll see that they're celebrating. I mean, like, whatever, Arsenal. But it's one of those. So Amorim said, he's going to work on that. So again, but I got to give it to the boys, because, being on phase one, we held our own, really. I mean, we were not, say, like, completely dominated by Arsenal. I wonder how it would have been if it was still under Erik ten Hag, right? Would we have been able to contain Arsenal like that, or would have been even more goals? You guys let me know in the comments below. What do you guys think? Would it have been worse, or under Erik ten Hag we would have been able to fare better? I don't know, man. I kind of feel like I think it could have been worse, man. So I gotta give it to Amorim here. The system is working, right? We just need the players who can fit that system. And right now, honestly, the defense played pretty well yesterday. Even the midfield was okay. But of course, now the final third, that was an issue, because we were not being adventurous. We were not trying to go at them. Of course, Garnacho was wasteful. Arashi came in, he couldn't do much. When Mount came off, again, we kind of dropped off. So it's one of those, like, I'm glad that Amorim is seeing this now, right? I'm glad he's seeing this now. I'm glad that we did not win. And why am I saying that? I'm saying that because had we gone on remember Ole, when Ole took over, we went on that, I don't know how many game run, like 7 games run unbeaten. So it could have given Amorim a wrong impression of this team, right? Because if we went on this crazy run of winning, he would have, maybe he wouldn't have seen the cracks, in our team. He wouldn't have seen how terrible our players are, right? He wouldn't have known, okay, this player cannot work in this system. We got to get rid of him, right? So it's good, because even yesterday, he learned something new about the players, because when the first goal went in, the players' heads dropped again. And that's something that also he needed to say, hey, mentality here, that is something that he needs to work on to build this team mentality, to have that fighting spirit, you know what I mean? So it was good to see that. And also, even himself, he said, like, listen, even in the Ipswich game drawing, that was also, he learned something there. The Everton game we won. Yeah, he did learn something, but of course he made sure that to tell people, listen, let's not get too giddy, right? We may have won, but we really didn't play well, But it's so it's gonna be like that. And he did warn that yesterday that we're gonna get found out, and which was pretty smart too by him saying that, because he kind of preempt the whole idea that, hey man, Arsenal could expose us. And that's why he kind of warned it in the pre-match press conference. He said, listen, right now we are working on things. We're building this structure, we're building this system, we're trying to make the players understand, but we're gonna get found out. And the problem with that is, the reason he said that is because if they get found out, we really don't have a plan B, right? Because we're learning plan A of how to play the system. So for example, we're playing, and then on the field, he notices something different, and Amorim would like to change the system. He really can't, because the players, they're still learning the plan A. So once that plan A gets found out, then it becomes an issue. All right. He even said, even if I can deliver the message to Bruno, say, hey, Bruno, tell the players to do this and this and this, there's not much time because the game is going on. So it's one of those that he understands that it's going to take a while. And I honestly, listen, I'm fully behind this manager, head coach of ours, and what he's trying to implement. He's bringing fresh ideas, and also the way he's handling himself, the honesty that he's giving the fans and the team is something good, because we didn't have that in the past, right? He's making sure that, he even said it himself, that when it comes to the fans, you want to keep it real with the fans. Because if you keep it real, then they'll form a trust in you to know, hey, whatever you're telling us is really what is happening. Comparing to our previous manager, he would say, yeah, we played well, but he doesn't really break it down, or say the negative part of it, But Amorim gives it to you. He said, listen, we did not do this, we did not do that, that kind of thing. So, which is really good, because us fans can handle the truth, right? And the fans can also understand, listen, he's not a miracle worker, right? He cannot just come here and have us play amazing ball, go on this crazy winning streak and stuff like that. No, it's going to take a while. And as fans, we understand, and we're going to give him the time to implement his system. And hopefully, since Amorim now is Ineos man, Ineos need to back him, right? We got to see proper backing. The type of backing that Arteta had at Arsenal when we took over. He was allowed to cut all the players that don't work in the system, like Aubameyang and all these other guys, right? Cut them, tear up the contract or something. Because by doing that, then Amorim will be able to bring in the pieces that can work in that system. And we're going to see that in the January transfer window, if we're going to get any players coming in. I don't know, maybe a left back or something, but I don't think we're going to see a lot of movement in January. But in the summer, I think we're going to see a lot of movement. Now, that movement should be outgoings and incomings. So that's when we're going to see, okay, how ruthless is Amorim going to be? How ruthless is allowed to be? Because he can be ruthless, right? He has done this in the past, but he needs to be allowed to do that. For example, Rashi, if he's by summer, he's not giving us what we need in Amorim's system, he should not be allowed to, to keep going and have another manager sacked. It's not only Rashi, of course. There's a lot of deadwood that needs to be get rid of. All of them. Just cut them and then bring in players that can work in his system. Yeah, man. So honestly, yesterday, bottom line is, I am not, frustrated or upset or anything like that. We showed ourselves that we can play in the system. We were not dominated. Yeah, we did not win. Fine. Arsenal, they're in a different phase. They are kicking on to try to win the Premier League. And really, Arsenal have never won anything. I'm kind of hoping they do this time because I really don't want Liverpool to lift the trophy because, hey, if Liverpool win, then they equal our Premier League titles, right? So we don't want Liverpool to win. Let me know if you want Liverpool or Arsenal to win, man. Nobody cares about Man City, right? Because they forget about City. Who knows about the 115, right? So let me know if you want City, if you want Liverpool or Arsenal winning this thing, man. But yeah, so it was it was a good showing, and I think we're gonna kick on from here. And you know what? Bring on Nottingham Forest, man. Nottingham Forest on Saturday is going to be a tough game because Nottingham Forest away, they're a really good team. So don't sleep on them, and that's why they're sitting, I think, 4th in the Premier League, right? Are they 4th? I don't know. I didn't check. But again, Nottingham Forest is a good team. All right. Nuno has gotten a tune out of that team, and they're going to give us a problem. So hopefully now, when we play on Saturday, obviously we're gonna see a lot of changes again because Amorim said rotation, right? Because there are players who didn't play yesterday. The players who played yesterday, they were not really gonna train as hard today and tomorrow, right? So we're gonna see a bunch of changes. Obviously, in that game, I'm expecting to see the likes of Casemiro starting, the likes of Kobbie Mainoo because he's going to be back after the suspension. We're going to see Licha back, so which is good. All those three, I'm expecting them to start. And amongst others, I mean, it's going to be one of those that it's going to be very interesting to see what lineup is going to give us. And obviously, on that game on Saturday, Ahmad has to start. In this game against Arsenal, it was a huge surprise that Ahmad didn't start, and I don't think anybody expected Ahmad not starting. But Ahmad, definitely, I see him starting in the Nottingham Forest game because you can see when he came into the game completely changed because that's what he gives you. Ahmad gives you that, and nobody else does it. So Ahmad has to start. So Ahmad is starting for sure. Mazraoui again, he's definitely going to start. So right there, we have Mazraoui starting, Ahmad, we have Kobbie Mainoo, Casemiro, you have Licha. So already, you have a team forming. But I want us to really go at Nottingham Forest, man. Batter them, all right? So hopefully see that. All right, people? Let me know what you think. Make sure to hit the like, subscribe, hit that follow if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, guys. Listen, I appreciate you driving with me. I am at the office now. Peace.